everyone, and welcome to Property Banter Zoom style. My name's Mark Armstrong, Director and CEO of Rate My Agent. Joining me as always is Rusty Cambridge, Director of Biggin & Scott Richmond. Rusty, how are you?
We're sensational. Mark had a few technical issues there, but we made it. A bit of panic there, wasn't there?
Do you think we'll ever get this right? Do you think we'll ever, like, it'll just run like clockwork, or do you think this is we just will never get it right? I
hope we never do, because we're more alert than we would have. If this was running smoothly, we'd be like this by now.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Everyone's got to understand that up until about 3 minutes ago, Russell was still trying to get in, and bloody internet not well. What was not working? You bloody. I'm surprised you're not drinking. I'm on to my 5th drink.
You want me to have a drink? I think I'll have a drink. Hey, what shall I have? I think I might have. I might have a gin and tonic. Gin and tonic, please. Get your hand. No, do that again. Gin and tonic, please. There we go. Lovely.
Hang on. Has that can been sanitized? Like that? I think you've broken bloody 50 COVID bloody rules or laws or.
Thank you very much.
Now I hear you're back in the office. You're is this right? Essential service, real estate and essential service. You're back working out of Richmond office.
Yeah, back at it. Half the staff are sort of back in. We don't have the full staff because we've obviously got to keep the certain numbers in. But look, it's been so chaotic, day by day. I think last week I was telling you it's been relatively calm with the hardship claims. It's starting to escalate. They sort of doubled this week, and it's so hard to manage them all remotely. So half the staff coming in, and we're meeting on a daily basis to go through the hardship cases. Plus, it's a good opportunity right now to do some restructuring and some changing things, because all the changes that we've had to go through the last 6 weeks, is it now? Yeah. But we got distancing in the office. We got 4 shots in a row, so it works well.
I'll tell you what. I mean, look, I'm just in the office by myself at the moment. I think Ed's somewhere over in the boardroom. But I think our team's looking forward to doing that and just coming back in and at least just 10 at a time and come in and be social. I think everyone's craving that sort of stuff. Hey, we've got a big show today. We've got Tanja Lee, an award-winning leadership mindset coach, coming in. We're going to talk about REA. REA is going to sell our properties for free, apparently. Put them online for free, and that's wonderful news. So we've got a big show, but before we start, we've got a bit of a clip. I think that agents are finding it a bit tough to get deals across the line. Would you say, Russ?
Mate, we can get them across the line. You need a bit more of a push and a bit more gift of the gab, and you'll get there. We've got
an example of a guy who's got the gift of the gab, and I think he's worked it out.
Well, it's not the biggest one I've seen, but they have made great use of the space. The fridge is set into the wall.
Oh, that's a nice touch.
And there's a fully electric hob.
I really don't like electric. You can't gauge the heat properly.
Did I ask you? Did I ask you? Look at me. Look at me in the eye. Did I ask you? Don't vex me, yeah?
And you could probably negotiate the washer dryer. Shall we pop upstairs? So, that was the house. Any more questions?
I don't think so, darling.
Well, I do have another couple coming to see it this afternoon. Second viewing, so...
Well, I mean, I really like it, but it's a bit too expensive for us.
Look, I know this is the most expensive purchase you're ever going to make. I understand that. So if you and hubby need a little more time to mull it over, you've got my number.
Well, to be honest, it is a little bit out of our price range.
Did I ask you? Did I ask you? No. Buy this house.
I can't afford it.
Buy it.
Look, I'll have to speak to the bank.
Buy it.
Look, please, no.
Buy it.
Look, please don't make me.
Buy it.
Look, I beg you.
Buy it.
Look, stop it.
Buy it.
You can't do this.
Buy it.
It's really unfair.
Buy it.
Please.
Buy it.
I won't do it.
Buy it.
Okay. Great!
Then let's go back to my office and sign the paperwork.
Ooh.
That's about it.
Is that how they're going down at the moment?
Way we do it.
Well, it's possibly the only way to do it. A bit of strong arming. No.
Don't they say if your kid asks you to do something, the first 7 times you say no, and the 8th you say yes? It's a bit like that, isn't it? You want to buy it? Want to buy it?
Absolutely. Hey, let's move on with the show. So we've got a great guest with us today, our undisruptible guest, our guest who's in the market and teaching people about how to survive this. So we've got Tanja Lee. So Tanja Lee's a winning leadership and mindset coach, international speaker, author and trainer. She was awarded I'm going through it, Tanja. I'm going to get through it all. Awarded the 2019 REB Mentor of the Year and Industry Thought Leader of the Year. Jeez, that's a lot. Hey, welcome, Tanja. Can't hear you. We can't. I think you might be on mute.
Hey,
Am I muted now? All right.
We got you. How are you, Tanja?
I'm great. I'm very impressed with the effective negotiation skills of Mr. Did I ask you? But the power of persuasion.
You got to get a deal across the line. Tanja, you specialize really in sort of mindset and teaching, if I'm right in saying, teaching agents to be in the right mindset and survive these tricky times. Maybe just tell us a little bit about what you're seeing in the market at the moment and what good agents are doing and where they're struggling.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, thanks for the opportunity. This show's obviously a lot of fun. I love that you're serious about making a difference, but you don't take yourselves too seriously, which is perfect.
We can't.
You can't.
No one does.
it's Corona Loco enough. You know, from my perspective, there's really kind of 2 camps. There's the agent that is very disempowered at the moment, that is using Corona Loco as a perfect justification for procrastination and a great reason why they don't have results. And what they're doing, whether it's conscious or unconscious, is really like dropping their standards, not using their daily strategies and habits, and as a result, mentally, physically, and emotionally kind of struggling and overwhelmed and heading down to victim town and really in not a good space. And so productivity... Heading
down to victim town. I like that one.
But that's what's happening. And so productivity and performance and what I'm seeing as far as their mindset's concerned, they're spending about 80 to 90% of their bandwidth focused, stressed, worried, talking, bitching, whinging, moaning about everything outside of their control. Which is going to have you at the effect of life. That's not going to work in the inevitable future of those agents. And there's a lot out there like that. And it's all valid and justifiable, but it just won't help you get momentum and growth in the future. So the inevitable future for those agents is you're going to struggle when Corona Loco fades out, because you won't have the habits and the mojo and the momentum to move forward. And you certainly won't have the connection with clients and the results.
Look, I used to be a procrastinator myself, but I'm going to have to get back to you with what I am now.
You know what we need? We need the Property Banter drum kit. I need the...
We do. Whereabouts are you right now? We did have a quick chat. You're down the Mornington Peninsula, correct? Can you explain to everyone just what we are going through here in Melbourne and down the Mornington Peninsula at the moment? How cold is it?
It's freaking freezing to be. That's my weather forecast. I've got the fire going. I've got the central heating going on. The pot plants at the front door, I just walked past before, are horizontal because it's like Antarctic winds. It's crazy here. But, you know, lucky we've got a warm conversation and good company to keep us cozy here at Property Banter.
Are you having a two?
Hey.
I'm soft. Look at me. I've gone on the aqua or I'm doing nanotime. Clearly I need to
we probably all need to go through that. Tanja, just to talk about, you know, the whole sort of mindset thing. Do you think it's not as simple as, but the idea of the power of positive thinking? We had Josh Teslin on last week, you know, Rate My Agent of the Year, and he's doing a deal a day. I think
Yeah.
last week he said on the 26th he had done, on the 25th he'd done 26 deals, and he's just so bloody positive. Is it as simple as that?
Yeah, look, it's simple but not easy but worth it. And it is a choice. You know, as I said before, there's two camps. There's head down to victim town, or you can really walk the path of positivity and empowerment. And these agents, you know, like many that you would know in the Rate My Agent, these guys and girls here, its definition is decisive. Their definition of Corona Loco is it's an amazing opportunity to be of service. These agents over here that I mentioned before are very transactional. They're very self-centric, and we're at the cause of we're at the effect of what's happening. Agents that are doing deals every day and are building connection and adding value on social media, the ones that are still are really empowered. And some of the things that they are doing is they haven't dropped their habits. We know that personal productivity and performance is dropped by about 35–45% for people working at home. And research also shows that we're tending to consume between 300 to 500 more calories, and sleeping late, sleeping in, and all those things.
300 to 500 more beers, I think, is probably
correct. Yeah, exactly. But agents that are performing well, they are very relational, not transactional. They're, what I say, making like Mother Teresa and Gandhi. They're losing themselves in service of others, and they've been very responsive. So a little tip for all of you, by the way, thanks for tuning in, everyone that's online, is please make sure that your LinkedIn and Facebook cover banners say that you are doing business digitally, with all the tick marks of what you're actually doing to make sure that you're following the right protocol. That gives people the impression that you're current and relevant and doing business virtually. And you must just get on the phone. This is not the time to hustle and grind and focus on making commission. This is the time to connect and communicate and let people know you're just calling everyone in your community, because you know people are making big decisions about their future, and you're there to help them make those decisions and choices.
Is it more important to be strategic and tactical at the moment, or motivated and enthusiastic?
I would put
good question.
I would put enthusiasm and motivation above strategy, because I'll tell you why. Most of us human beings, we've got the functionality of human beings a little bit ass about, excuse the term, but it's like this. We think, what do I have to do to have the results that I have to have, and then I'll be happy? And that's a pathway of exhaustion, because we all know, like, you guys know how to be fit and healthy, right? You eat well and you exercise, but notice how knowing makes no difference. So strategy will never work if it's on top of a disempowered definition. If your definition of yourself is, you know, yes, these are unprecedented times, but this is the time that I'm going to zig when everybody else is zagging, and I'm going to be a machine, a connection machine, and get out there and absolutely solve as many problems as possible. And I'm going to turn my individual office or my own business into a newsroom and broadcast the latest, greatest information to keep people educated. So motivation and inspiration to be of service first, to add value and educate and showcase what local businesses in your slice of your demographic pie are doing, is the strategy. But you can't do that if you are feeling sorry for yourself and cracking the whip and not waving the wand of what's possible.
I think a lot of agents, I mean, for a lot of agents, it was really easy, you know. They'd have open for inspections. That was their communication with the community. Everyone knows that at every open for inspection, I don't know, 50% of the people are just neighbours coming for a look, and you could talk to people and you could build those. Oh, shut up, Russell. And you could build. Yeah. What would you know? You've been in the industry for 30 years. No, but they had those interactions. And when they lost that mechanism, I think a lot of agents, or some agents, fell in a heap. But other agents just said, I'm just going to interact and have those communications and build those relationships in other ways. I've lost my open for inspections. I've lost going to the local footy club or the local bloody school or whatever it is. But I still know that the coffee shop, I still know those interactions are important. How can I have those in a different way? And we wrote an article a little while ago about you know, everyone's talking about social distancing, and it's crazy. We shouldn't be social distancing. We need to be, well, physically distancing, but socially connecting is what we need to continue to do, you know, and I think that's what you're talking about, Tanja, is that keeping those connections alive with our community and just finding different ways to do it.
Yes, 100%. And I know what I love about this show, as I said, is you're serious about adding value and making this hour of power worthwhile for people, but you're not taking yourselves too seriously. But what I do want to say is, if you are on this call and you're watching this and you're, no kidding, having a tough time, you know, I see you and I feel you, and I'm absolutely here for you. And I'll share later how I can be of service to you free. Like, this is just about adding value. And I promise you, if you don't shift your focus to how you can really just connect and communicate and contribute to your community, you will spiral down in emotional quicksand, because there's a lot of negativity if you overconsume the sensationalism. Stay educated, stay connected on Property Banter. The guys at Rate My Agent are giving you as much content as possible to be informed, but it is our responsibility as individuals to focus on the stuff that we can control. So, you know,
you refer quite often in your blurbs I've read up about what you do and all this sort of stuff, and heard you before. What do you mean by the community? What define community in your world?
Yeah, great question, Russ. Community is your patch, your farm area. When I'm coaching principals and agents, my invitation to them is, don't see yourself as a real estate agent. See yourself as a change agent, especially now with Corona Loco in town. So your community is your patch, your farm area. So use your Facebook page to promote local businesses and how they're still trading and engaging. If Mario's Cafe, you can order your cappuccino online and go drive past with your gloves and your mask and pick it up. Promote on social media that, you know, hook up Mario's Cafe. I've got an agent that they're hosting a Palmer's Pots and Pearls night. We've got all the local butchers and who are doing deliveries of freshly made Palmers. She's the #1 agent in her area. Shout out to Kate Ashton. And she has her community, people in her postcode, jump on a Zoom call, having a Palmer, drinking a pot. The ladies are wearing pearls, having a bit of fun. She's sharing what's happening in the market. And you know what some of the biggest bits of feedback are? That people who are in self-isolation, who are feeling lonely and don't have family or much of a network, are actually just hanging out with their local #1 real estate agent and a few local peeps, having a beer and a Palmer and having a bit of fun.
Yeah, good work.
Hey, Tanja, sorry, I was going to say that is bloody awesome. I'm just looking at some of the messages coming through. Love it, Tanja. Love your advice. You're getting a lot of fans out there. As you're talking, great positivity, which is what we love to see.
Yeah.
We're going to move on and let's keep talking about this. But you know, we have a segment here. What we want to get into is we'd like to have a deep dive. Oh, here we go. Here's the little segment. So deep dive is where we just like to talk about what's happening in. Someone's just said, "Love your work, Tanja." We'd love to talk about what's going on in the market, and I think the big news story of the week. And Rusty, you've got some insights into this. The big news story of the week is that REA are going to list properties for free. And it was only 4 weeks ago where REA said they won't do that. So what's your take on this, Russ?
Well, list it for free, pay when it sells. So there's a bit of a levy placed on the cost of the premier listing. So it goes up by 20%, but you don't have to pay if you ultimately don't sell the property. Look, I think it's a great initiative to try and trigger things along, push things along a bit. Look, May's looking a little bit quieter out there than it should do, but if this gives someone some confidence that they're not going to be out of pocket and lose money if they don't sell because of this, so be it. But I'll tell you now, any vendors out there listening at the moment, we will, and the other agents out there will sell your property. There's plenty of buyers out there. We need a bit more stock, and I think this is a good initiative by realestate.com. No sale, no charge, unless it obviously sells. Then you have to pay a fee. But yeah, why not? Bite the bullet and push it along that way. I think it's a good move.
Yeah, I think, Tanja, I'll get your thoughts in a second, but we had Josh on last week, and he said one of the problems is a lot of people are coming to him wanting to sell off market, and it's very hard to sell off market. And if we can incentivize people to go on market, most people don't want to go on market because of the cost.
Yeah.
And if we can say to people, or if agents out there can say to people, okay, well, we can put it on market. No risk. You don't pay anything. We'll take some photos, whack it online. The biggest cost is REA and domain. I mean that, and so it should be. That's where most of the buyers' eyeballs are. But if we can negate that risk, and then they get a price they're happy with, I think it's a good thing, Tanja.
I think it's a good thing. I'm not a fan of the off the market because, let's face it, better prices are usually achieved with a bit of competition and a bit of other interest from other people. And when you're going off market, it's really sending a bad message. You're saying you're not confident you're going to sell it, and you're not creating that competition. As soon as it's on the market, advertised, subliminally, buyers know there's other people interested. They know there's other people sniffing around and searching that property, and they feel under pressure to make a decision and make a move.
Yeah, I think we're in this together, and good on you, realestate.com, because this is an ecology and we all have to do our bit to give before we get. And that goes down to principals and agents and tradespeople, and obviously, REA are doing their bit. And, we've just got to keep being of service and keep being innovative, because, there are, and here's the thing. We know that there's a lot of people at home right now who have lost their jobs, maybe dual incomes have been lost, or they've had their days of employment reduced. And there are thousands of people around our nation right now that are laying in bed at night or sitting around the kitchen table talking about the need to put their house on the market. They don't have a relationship with an agent currently. And what we do know from research from CoreLogic RP data is that from the moment a vendor signs an authority with an agent to the moment they sell a property, their confidence in that agent drops by 47%. What does that mean? That agent is unlikely to retain that particular vendor, and they're not going to get referrals. What does that mean? Those agents that zig when everyone is zagging down to victim town and calls and says, hey, we know people are out there now needing to make really big decisions. Tanja here from ABC Realty, just needing to know if you need any questions answered around real estate or property right now, and if I can be of service. You could be the call that they need because they don't have a relationship with an agent. Now, if they did, they don't trust them because they let them down by over-promising and under-delivering. So we're all doing our bit. Providing free webinars, free Zooms, free marketing until you sell with a little bit of loading, but that's understandable.
Free Friday afternoon wind downs.
Yeah, that's right. It's an amazing stat, that I've never heard that before.
Yeah.
But 47% of them lose confidence in their agent through the process. And I guess it depends on the market. But the other thing that we're seeing at the moment, which is really interesting, is we're seeing the demand of buyers. We're seeing the number of people looking at real estate. Now, we all know that a part of that is because people are at home bored shitless, quite frankly, and they're online. Well, they're online and they can't go to the pub, they can't go for dinner, so they're. But it also shows that it doesn't matter what the market's doing. There's always buyers in the market. People always need to upsize, they need to downsize. People die, people get divorced, people get married, people have kids. That doesn't change. The coronavirus doesn't change the growing demand for property. And I think what REA is doing here is good. Hopefully it kickstarts the industry and it gives those people the confidence to say, well, why don't I just give it a go at the moment? Why don't I just see who's out there? And if I can sell it, great. If I don't, well, I haven't lost anything.
Well, there's a couple of conditions attached to this, by the way. It's only up until the 30th of June. So it's only listings listed online up to the 30th of June. And of course, there's a certain number per agency allowed to be under this scheme. So, first in best dressed if you want to take up this opportunity. But hey, COVID-19 and all the issues are not far away from being behind us. And that, what was it called again? That virus that was floating around, SARS, MARS, or COVID something. It's almost behind us, guys. It's time to let's get the properties on the market. We're almost back to normality. I've got all my stuff back in here and I'm excited.
On that note, Tanja, we like to keep this to a short, sharp 30 minutes. We can't keep people's attention for more than bloody 30 minutes, and we are running out of time. We've just got one last little segment we like to go through, and that is we like to finish off with a little clip of the week. We call this the tipple of the week. If we can show our little clip. This one makes me laugh every time I see it. I don't know why, but it makes me laugh every time.
Today is gonna be the day that I'm gonna show this home to you. By now you should have somehow realized that it's right for you. And I don't believe that any home can make you feel the way you do about it now. Backbeat, it's 8 on the street and the summer sun has come out. I'm sure you've heard it all before, but you've never really had a doubt. I don't believe that anybody feels the way you do about it now. And all the roads that lead.
Thank you on behalf of all of us.
But this guy's doing, what we've been talking about. He's engaging his community. He's probably, he's letting himself be a bit vulnerable, and he's saying, I don't think that guy thinks he's got a good voice. I mean, I might be wrong, but he's doing what we're saying we're doing. Hey, before we go, guys, we do have a quick question. Going back, I do want to answer this. I was gonna finish up, but Alan's asked us, do we think that this free product will revolutionize traditional real estate sales? Do we think, I guess what they're asking here is, do we think that it will open up the door to some of these free listing portals, or do we think that it's just a short-term thing and REA will close the door on it very quickly?
No chance.
I don't want to go back
around. It'll be done by the 30th of June because we're going to be back to normal. We're going to be pumping, we're going to be fighting, and they'll be the enemy again because they'll be overcharging and we're going to be angry with them again. But at least we'll be back to normal.
Alan, that answers the question for you. Tanja, thank you so much for being on the show. It's been an absolute pleasure. We'd love to have you back. I'd tell you what, the comments that came through were wonderful.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, well done. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been great.
Yeah, awesome. Absolute pleasure. Thanks everyone for watching.
Rusty, same time next week, 4 o'clock next week. We've got a little outro here. We're going to show the outro because this is one of my favorite outros. This is from the old Property Banter. So we might just stay on and have a quick laugh, and it's probably one of the funniest lines that's been thrown.
And the most successful accommodation in the world doesn't own any buildings, and then puts the money back into the pockets of the people. Why are you against the Popolani?
I didn't say I was.
You are.
Okay.
You're an elitist scum.
That one always makes me laugh.